Buckle up and join the best. Let City relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the traffic avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the traffic avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
That we can now have a Chief Justice and other high-ranking state officials holding dual citizenships here in the Republic of Ghana. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
cocoa farmers raise concerns about implementation of new EU regulations on deforestation and its cost effects on producing countries.
That's in 50 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across the country on a number of affiliate stations, including in the Western region on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady and Sky Power 93.5 FM, also based in Takrady. We are live in the Bono region on Greener 95.9 in Sunyani. We are in the Ahafo region on Hammers 106.5 FM in Goso. In the Ashanti region, we are on Focus 94.3 in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu. In the Northern region on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM. In the Upper East region we are on Tanga 93.7 FM in Bolga, Tanga. In the Upper West region we are on Tongsung 97.3 FM in Wa and Jirapa 96.1 FM also in Jirapa. In the Upper West region we are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and we are interactive. Join us with your messages 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Let's start off now with a story that has generated lots of controversy. The President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has accepted the recommendations of auditing company KPMG to terminate the upstream petroleum and minerals audit service provided to the Ghana Revenue Authority by Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML. This comes after allegations of corruption and under-declaration by the company. A statement from the presidency this morning says the engagement of SML has increased revenue to the state to the tune of 2.4 billion cedis. The details of this particular communication from the presidency is contained in a statement that was issued, and our correspondent at the presidency, Sami Hiwiafe, has been studying same. He's joined me in studio. Sami, you're welcome to Eyewitness.
Thank you very much, Umaro. Good evening.
Good evening. So is this a press release? Is it a letter? What nature of communications is this from the president?
So you describe it as a press release,
okay,
signed by the Director of Communications, Eugene Ahin.
And the president is telling us that KPMG has finished his work because he contracted KPMG to do that work. So what's the president saying?
So it's a 6-page document. It gives a history of this whole transaction between GRA and then SML, talks about what they were supposed to do and their expectation. What everybody was looking out for was the recommendation from KPMG in respect of this particular job that was given to them by the presidency, because the news came out, there were some reports of corruption and underhand declaration here and there. And so the president wanted KPMG to go ahead with a comprehensive investigation on the activities of this company, which is SML, and come up with a report. So today, the report officially came out, as you mentioned this morning, and the president went ahead with the recommendations that was given by KPMG in all this investigation. So, Sandra, I'll take you through what a lot of people, were expecting, which is the recommendation of KPMG after its investigation. And it says KPMG made the following recommendation. The government, acting through the Ministry of Finance and GRA, may terminate the contract with or without cause upon giving 120 days written notice before the effective date of termination stated in the termination notice. Upon termination, the government may be liable to pay SML for services already completed but not yet paid, and the government will not be entitled to a refund of any compensation already paid to SML regardless of the termination cause. B. In the event of termination without cause, the government becomes liable to pay SML a return on investment equivalent to the fair value of SML's investment in the respective contract. The total investment value in the contract for the transaction audit and external price verification service and downstream petroleum audit services amount to $44,044,180. The total investment value in the contract for the upstream petroleum audit and mineral audit service amount to $133,486,722. The total investment value for all services provided by SML to GRA amount to $177,530,902. KPMG noted that SML did not provide supporting documents or relevant information to verify the investment it has made. GRA must verify the investment if any of the services provided under the contract are terminated. C. The upstream petroleum and mineral audit could be a major source of revenue for the state, and if there are leakages, the impact could be significant. Therefore, KPMG recommends reviewing these services by conducting a comprehensive needs assessment and engaging relevant stakeholders with diverse interests in respective sectors. Furthermore, KPMG recommends the need for a value for money assessment in contract performance processes. Any contract for the provision of these services should comply with Section 33 of the PFMA. Number D. For the transaction audit, the external price verification and downstream petroleum audit services, KPMG recommends that since SML has been providing the services for over 4 years, it has gained experience and become more efficient. KPMG thus recommends renegotiating the price level, including shifting from the variable to a fixed fee structure. Monitoring and evaluation of the services offered by SML should be done periodically in the contract. Also, there should be an incorporation of needs assessment into public procurement and practice. And then after the recommendation, the president also directed the Ministry of Finance and GRA to do the following. It says, 1. The upstream petroleum audit and mineral audit services has not yet been commenced, and no payments have been made in respect of these services. Therefore, they may be terminated. However, given the upstream petroleum audit and mineral audit services could prevent significant revenue leakage, the president has directed that the Ministry of Finance and GRA conduct a comprehensive technical needs assessment, value for money assessment, and stakeholder engagement before implementing such services. 2. The transaction audit and external price verification service may also be terminated. According to KPMG's findings, GRA obtained partial value or benefit for these services. This was also due to lack of monitoring on the part of GRA to ensure that SML performed the services as stipulated in the contract. KPMG investigation found that GRA has introduced external price verification tools as part of the ICUMS among its other findings. This renders the reliance on SML for external pricing verification redundant. Number 3. There is a clear need for the downstream petroleum audit services provided by SML. GRA and the state have benefited from these services since SML commenced providing them. There have been an increase in volumes of 1.7 billion litres and an increase in tax revenue to the state amounting to 2.45 billion cedis. KPMG also observed that there were qualitative benefits, including a 24/7 electronic real-time monitoring of outflow and partial monitoring of inflows of petroleum products at depots where SML had installed flow meters and 6-level reconciliation in these areas. This minimizes the occurrence of under-declaration. However, it is important to review the contract for downstream petroleum audit services, particularly the fee structure, given the experience and potency of SML over the last 4 years of providing this service, and the President has directed that this fee structure be changed from a variable to a fixed structure. Other provisions of the contract worth reviewing include clauses of intellectual property rights, termination, and service delivery expectation. So, Sana, this is basically the recommendation.
So the key takeaways, the presidency is saying that the company has generated some revenue for us, and that this revenue that generated for us is what is it?
It's 2.45 billion.
And they're saying
ever
that
since they commenced work in 2017.
So essentially, the government is commending SML for the good job done.
Yes.
But it's also saying that there are 2 contracts involved.
There are some few contracts within the which is, for instance, the recommendation also says that the government acting through Ministry of Finance and GRA may terminate the contract with or without clause upon 120. So, in essence, there were 2 of them, the upstream and the downstream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there were some clauses in there which were not, or contract in there which was not being performed well by this company. So, the KPMG is recommending that government or the Ministry of Finance or GRA terminates that particular contract because no amount of money has been generated from that side, and there's no need to continue with that side. And so the only side they should continue with where the generation is coming from, which is the 2.45 billion is coming from. That one should continue, but the other side, which is not generating any amount of money, should be discontinued.
This 2.4 billion, is it cedis or dollars?
It's cedis.
Okay, so the company generated for us 2.4 billion.
Yes.
We paid them 1 billion.
Yes.
Over 5 years.
Yes. So it says that the company in total generated 1.7 billion liters and an increase in tax revenue to the state of 2.45 billion cedis.
Yeah, so I'm saying that, so they've generated 2.4 billion for us. We've paid them 1 billion over 5 years.
Yes.
It's just
by the terms of the agreement.
Okay. So these are the key takeaways from this statement from the government, right? Thank you so much. Sami Biafisa, correspondent at the presidency. Let's speak to Martin Ikwebu. He is a private legal practitioner, constitutional lawyer. He's joined us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yes, thank you, Mario.
So there were allegations of corruption that have been brought against this company and the government. KPMG, an auditing firm, goes into it. We have not found specifically the proof of these allegations. The government is clean as a whistle, isn't it?
Mario, no, I know you're teasing. I think as far as I can remember, the report says that GRA did not receive full benefit of the service. So it means SML did not deliver. Yes, at 2 paragraphs. Let me go to the report and see which paragraphs. So the report is very clear that GRA did not receive full benefit of the service. So in other words, SML did not deliver. But the report went on to cast blame on GRA for not supervising to make sure that the SML delivered. So let's go one of the paragraphs. So that's in the downstream. As we look for that paragraph, let's also note that the president, as part of the recommendations, accepted that the upstream contract or the contract relating to the upstream should be cancelled. And so that is a serious indictment on Oforiatta. From day one, we said, on what basis did Oforiatta extend the contract to include the upstream petroleum sector? He didn't do any needs assessment. They just extend it. We see that this contract had become a channel to pay money needlessly.
But if I saw right, the term or the wording of the presidency is may terminate. It does not say should terminate or must terminate.
Oh yes. So where we are going now, because in any event, on what basis was SML chosen? Don't forget the history shows that or when I say the history, part of the report, that they have sought approval, GRA has sought approval on 3 occasions, and yet PPA refused. Then they smuggled SML in by taking them to work under West Blue. You see, so the point I'm making is that because of the issues with sole sourcing or single source procurement, which we have decried over and over, I don't see how SML can continue to do upstream, they provide the upstream services without going through competitive tendering. So that one, no, we will not take that. Look, they have to just take that. What's the rush? SML is not the only company that can provide such services. So I see that they definitely would not just allow SML to continue. They have to go ahead and do open it for tendering, whichever method they will use. Okay, so let's not forget that the report is showing the rot at the GRA because, as it shows, they had to circumvent the PPA. Umaru, look at this. On 3 occasions, they sought to get approval for sole sourcing, single source procurement, and the PPA refused. Then they smuggled SML through the back door by allowing them or pushing them to work with West Blue. That's a serious indictment, very serious indictment. Do you see also the part that, as I've already stated, we didn't get benefit for some of the money we paid.
But we've got 2.4 billion. That's what they got for us. That's huge, even though they've received 1 billion in payments.
Can you imagine? The 2.4, I thought that was revenue for a specific year. Let's see, total fee. Yeah, they've been paid 1 billion. But Omar, let's not forget that Mustafa Hamid said he doesn't know the work those guys are doing. He's head of NPO. If you watch the documentary, Mustafa Hamid said he doesn't know about them. He is yet to hear. So this report is a whitewash. I said Mustafa Hamid, who was crying in 2016, wallahi, we have to rescue Ghana. He says that he doesn't know what SML was doing there. So he was now going to check. So are we saying that the head of the MPA, if you are bringing a game changer, like I've said elsewhere, you are bringing a new service that was going to plug all the loopholes, was going to make sure that there would be the under-invoicing and all those things checked to be sure that the right data were reported and everything. You are saying that the head of the MPA, who stood to benefit immensely, he was never informed. But
he's a new head of the institution, started from 2021. Could it be that because this is a deal that was there before him, he may not have apprised himself with all the contracts that the energy sector was involved in? That could be an excuse?
Not at all. Mustafa, he was even in the documentary. Once again, he was very agitated, and that was good, except that after the documentary, my problem with him is that he didn't do anything because he was interviewed in July. A Manasseh's documentary came out sometime in November 2023. So my beef is that somebody who was very upbeat in the documentary that he was going to check what they were doing. 4 months on, Mustafa Hamid couldn't lift a finger. He couldn't say a word. So that begins to show that it's not really independent there, because you are captured on tape saying that what are you telling me? That this exists is part of the services or part of what I'm superintending. Somebody's working under me and I don't know the person. I'm waiting to see. I'm going to check that out. 4 months on, Mustafa Hamid never did anything. So Manasseh aired the documentary. So it tells you that the wallahi he was swearing. It was all just crocodile tears. You see, it's all about positions. Because how can you cry on camera? This one too. I'm talking about Manasseh's interview on the document. Interviewing him for the documentary. He said, no, he doesn't know. What are they doing? So apart from that, the other thing is that in the documentary, you will find that GRA officials say they don't use the data SML churns out. No, Omar, let's think about that again. This is a government employee on record saying, SML, whatever they do, we don't use their data. You think the man who said so, he doesn't know what he's talking about, knowing that it was going to a documentary. And you see how in the documentary they showed how MPA itself had gotten a new system, the Indians. You see how they were showing that, look, they themselves be able to take care of the systems, etc. So this KPMG report is not up to scratch. It's just a whitewash. KPMG is just a whitewash. They haven't done any good job at all.
KPMG? You don't trust KPMG?
Oh, no. But from day one, the writing was on the wall that KPMG were not up to the task, that they couldn't be independent enough, that they have relations with GRA. So this was to be expected.
What was the conflict of? How conflicted was KPMG?
By KPMG itself, that's business. GRA audits them. Then GRA also gives them business. So it was expected that you scratch my back, I scratch your back.
So that's your suspicion of conflict of interest?
Yes, absolutely.
But there's nothing that has been proven. If KPMG wouldn't do that, it means that no other auditing firm should be able to do that because GRA would deal with all these institutions anyway.
No, so what I expected was that we could then have constituted a special audit committee composed of some officers from the Auditor General's outfit and some individuals, not KPMG as an institution.
I see.
Perhaps maybe you can even take certain talented persons from KPMG, but don't restrict it as KPMG as an institution.
So for you, it should not have been the whole approach was wrong ab initio.
Absolutely. And we made that very, very clear. So, Mario, let's read one of them. Paragraph 3. It says, regarding the transaction audit services, KPMG concluded that SML partially delivered on the service requirement. Partially. So they received all. However, given the observation made during the investigation, GRA may not have obtained all the expected benefits from the service. This is partly due to GRA's lack of instituting monitoring and evaluation processes to assess the performance of the service and hold its personnel and SML accountable for non-performance. I told you. There's another paragraph, apart from this paragraph 3, which also says that yes, good. Then paragraph 4. Regarding external price verification services, KPMG concluded that SML delivered partially. Once again, you see, and they are running away from percentages. If you say partially, what percentage? You see how they are hiding things. You see how when you come in a country that you don't have much, strike the percentage. What is the partial on the service requirements? And that given the observations made during the investigations, GRA may not have obtained all the expected benefits. So you see two key areas. Yet SML is being paid money.
So for you, the job has not been well done.
At all. We should throw this into the dustbin and perhaps do a new one.
Very well.
KPMG was never going to come through with what we expected.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
That's Martin Kwebu. He's a private legal practitioner sharing his views with us on that report from the presidency by the work that has been done by KPMG on SML. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Akosia has some other stories for us.
Yes, the Supreme Court, by a majority decision, has declared as unconstitutional sections of the Citizenship Act, which prohibit a person with dual citizenship from becoming a Chief Justice, Commissioner, Value-Added Tax Service, Director General, Prison Service, Chief Fire Officer, Chief Director of a ministry, or a rank of colonel in the army or other security service. Or the Apex Court delivered its judgment nullifying the said sections of the Citizenship Act in the case of Francis Osei-Bonsu versus the Attorney General. Or the Supreme Court upheld all the reliefs of the plaintiff unrepresented by the bride Autry Ajekum Esquire. Or the Supreme Court nullified the said sections for being inconsistent with Article 2892 of the 1992 Constitution. The effect of the decision is that persons who are dual citizens, contrary to the dictates of Section 16 of the Citizenship Act can now be appointed to positions or offices, including that of the Chief Justice, Commissioner of the Value Added Tax Service, Director General of the Prison Service, the Chief Fire Officer, a Chief Director of a ministry, the rank of a colonel in the army or its equivalent in the other security services. Now, per the reliefs sought by the plaintiff, the said sections now nullified by the Supreme Court impedily amended the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and thus injured Article 2892 of the Constitution.
Indeed, so that's coming from the Supreme Court. So the summary of what has happened is that we may well have a Chief Justice who is half Ghanaian, half Jamaican, half Australian. Dual citizenship there, and the Chief Justice and other officers as has been listed there by Akosia Ochre on what's coming from the Supreme Court. Another issue coming from the Supreme Court is that a determination has been made. The Supreme Court has declared that payment for wages to spouses of presidents and vice presidents is unconstitutional. The story on citynewsroom.com says the Supreme Court has in two separate judgments declared as unconstitutional the payment of wages to the spouses of the president and the vice president. The two cases were filed by South Dai Member of Parliament Roxy Nelson Dapamakwo and the New Patriotic Party's Bono Regional Chairman Kwame Bafo Abronye. The suits followed controversies that emerged as a result of recommendations by the Presidential Emolument Committee for spouses of the president and vice president to be paid wages and emoluments. Mr. Dapamakwo, in his suit, among other things, prayed the court to declare that the Emoluments Committee had no power to make recommendations nor make approval in respect of salaries of emoluments to the first and second lady. So that's a decision from the Supreme Court. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Like I said to you, it's a big day for the National Democratic Congress outdooring its running mate. That event is happening. We are crossing over in the next few minutes. But before then, the latest in the world of business, Akosia.
Some cocoa farmers have expressed concerns regarding the implementation of the new EU regulations on deforestation and its financial implications for both farmers and producing nations. Or the regulations mandate producing countries to adhere to measures aimed at safeguarding the environmental ecosystem, leading to the production of sustainable and ethically sourced cocoa. Other cocoa farmers say while the intentions behind these regulations are commendable, they are substantial ethical and economic challenges for countries, particularly regarding those who will bear the additional cost of compliance. Speaking to Citi Business News, the president of the Mancron Cocoa Farmers Cooperative Society, Francis Taino, said he will be calling on the European Union to bear the cost of burden of compliance with the new regulations.
One, I agree that climate change is affecting all of us, and cocoa farmer cannot be disassociated from those global climate challenges. So we are all in support that we should do things that will overturn this climate change issue, because if the impact on it is affecting the cocoa industry seriously, and you can see that currently our cocoa tonnage is declining and further. Although it has other factors that are contributing to that, but the climate change is also a factor. So I think all of us should join hands to support the European Union to be able to fight that. But they should also be ready, because we are making now a lot of sacrifices. So few people cannot make sacrifices for the whole world. So those who are making sacrifices too should be, those who are benefiting should be ready to compensate those who are making sacrifices.
That was the president of the Mancron Cocoa Farmers Cooperative Society, Francis Taino.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We've had to terminate Eyewitness News now because there's a big event happening. The NDC outdooring its running mate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. The event is happening at the UPSA Auditorium in Accra. And we have a panel in the Citi TV studios from Tesano that is doing analysis. Hansi Najiman and Fred Tete Jabano, being hosted by Akosia Ajua Domina, I beg your pardon, and they are having that conversation while we are also picking the feed live from UPSA, moderated by one person who used to host this particular show, Eyewitness News, Shamima Muslim. Al Hassan. So we're taking you now to the UPSA auditorium for that event.
I said, well, I don't know the way forward. And she started inspiring me. You are capable of becoming a lecturer in this institution, but these are the way